Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Midnight, bringing yet again another video. Now in today's video we're actually going to be doing a little bit of a guide on the Velocity class. Now I'm just going to start by saying obviously don't take this as in like you have to do this when you're Velocity, or like, you know, this is the best thing to do for Velocity. Like, don't get me wrong, I use the class, but in no way do I know everything about the class. Like, there's different strategies for different people, and there's much better Velocity players than there is myself. So yeah, just keep that in mind. This is just kind of giving probably newer players a bit more of a guide, but you might learn something or two if you're a little bit more experienced with some of the things that I've learned playing against other Velocity players or playing with other Velocity players. But yeah, this video is quite highly requested because I think a lot of you have seen that I'm a Velocity class. So yeah, I think a lot of people have asked me to kind of give my opinion on the class and tell you what I do. Ignore the stats, I'm slacking at the minute. I don't have the weighty equipment everyone else does on the server. It's great, I'm just so lacking right now. But yeah, let's get straight into the video. Now the first thing I will say, I'll start by talking about the formations. So this is all very situational. It depends what units you use, what class like you're using on your team. So obviously, because we're talking about Velocity, this is not my lineup. Hang on, let me show you what I would actually use. So sorry if you can hear some clicking in the background. But yeah, usually what I use is I use 2 DPS, a healer, and a sealer. That's what I tend to do. I'm not going to talk about the units in particular that I'm using too much, because there's not too much you can really say about them. But this is the formation I use. I use the lockdown formation. It's level 9 at the minute, and it increases speed for my main character, increases damage, ceiling, damage, and durability, so your defense pretty much. So for your healer, having that durability is really good. Your 2 damage dealers in the damage stat, having more speed on your main character is great, and then seal increase for your sealer is very good. Now if you choose to go out for an all-out DPS team, then your next option would be Ascension. Everyone has this formation. It's the first formation you get. Everyone gets a damage increase. Good for things like the dragon when you fight him. Besides from that, if you want to clear like exo missions quickly and stuff like that, and you're doing stuff solo that you can do quickly with faster units, then yeah, I would use this formation. Another formation that is pretty good for Velocity class in particular is the Equality formation. This will give you a physical increased damage to your main character, which is what they use. You have the healing spot down here. You have more damage, more physical damage. So, and then you've got seal resistance down at the bottom there for whoever that may be. This is quite a good formation. I prefer the lockdown formation just because of the seal increase on the sealer, but if you're not using the sealer, this is also a very good formation to use if you're still using a healer. So yeah, they're the formations that I personally prefer out of all of them. Not saying that's the right answer, there's no right answer, but they're the ones that I find most ideal for most of my team compositions that I will run. So yeah, that's formations. The next thing I'll quickly go through is magic here. Let's see if I can find it. Oh no, it's here. So on your points distribution, there's a few things you can do. I myself put it all in strength. Like, I'm literally built like a glass cannon. So not right now because of my equipment, but I will put maxed out strength. Although an alternative option you can do is you can kind of split it between strength and agility. That's quite a good idea. That's really only good against other velocity class players, because having that speed increase against them, which we'll get into in a moment, really does help win some of the battles. But full strength, you can't go wrong with that. So yeah, sorry about the random cut there. I actually had a knock on the door, so I had to go and grab that. But yeah, mainly build it in strength. You can never go wrong with that. But if you want to have a little bit more speed, then I would put some in speed. And if you really want, then you could put some in your health. Or even if you really wanted to split them all the way, you can. But for me personally, I feel like the 2 real options that you can really go for is all out strength, or strength and a little bit of speed. I'd probably put it to like 3 to 1, or like 1/4 in agility, and then the rest of it in in strength. So 3/4 in strength, 1/4 in agility. I would say that's pretty good. So where's the other one? And this also comes to your mounts. When you develop it here and you level this up, I put it mainly on attack. You get an increase in physical attack. I mean, none of the other ones are actually going to really help you. Healing and sealing, don't even think about putting it in there because you're not going to get any of that at all. Defense, that's great. You could put it in there if you want to have a bit more survivability, but having that extra attack is also extremely good. So next, what I'll talk about is the skills. So this is all of the skills that they have. I'll kind of go through them all in a match. Let me just quickly find something to do. Where is it? Beast Guard. Will it let me do Beast Guard if I've already done it? But yeah, I can kind of show you some of the skills in a battle. So with the skills for this class, you have the main one, which is Gale. This is basically just an AoE attack. You're going to be using this skill more often than not. The skill basically just attacks every single enemy on the enemy team, pretty much, depending on what level you are. And it actually does quite a high amount of damage as well. So not a bad skill. It does nothing else. It literally just is an AoE attack, but it does quite huge damage. So overall, that's the skill you're going to be using pretty much all the time, right? So yeah, that skill, always level it up, is a good skill to use. Now Arcane Speed, what that would do is it will attack one enemy. So we'll use it on the yellow hat duck here. What it will also do is increase your speed, pretty much doubling it, or it's 1.5 times the amount. You'll have this little aura go around you here on your feet, just to say that you have got the speed boost. Let me see if it will tell me. Yeah, so you get a 100% speed boost, which is great, right? So you've permanently got a speed boost that makes you quicker than everyone on the field, pretty much, right? The only time you really get outsped when you have this around your feet is if another Velocity class player uses it and they're faster than you in general. Not only that with the skill, but when you attack the target, you have a chance to stun them and they cannot attack that round. And obviously because you attack first, they won't be able to attack you. So this skill here, more often than not, I would tend to use it. There's very situational when you use it. So you kind of got to think a few steps ahead of time. You got to think, will this speed boost help me in the round after? Or will I need it now? So majority of the time, I will use it if we need to stun a alphabet, so a sealer. Or if we need to stun a healer, I will try and get the lucky stun on the healer so that my team can deal damage and they don't get the heal that round, and hopefully we can finish someone off the next round. Because healers basically negate damage from one of your DPS, depending on how strong the healer is and how strong your DPS is. So you really got to think about when you got to use this best. Arcane Fury is quite the opposite. This will make you pretty much the slowest person on the field. You will attack dead last, and let me show you here. So you reduce your speed by 200%. You cannot dispel this. Yeah, you're basically the slowest person on the field. But when you do attack, you get health regen. So as you can see here, I will attack and you get health regen. This skill, again, I very rarely use it personally, but I've had to use it in certain occasions. So in a PvP match, I'll find myself having to use this skill here if I know that someone's going to get revived, right? So let's say, you know, I'm playing against someone with the same team that I'm doing. I kill their main character. I know that their pet's going to revive their main character. I will use this skill so that their pet, although he is the slowest on the field, I've made myself slower. So when he revives that person, I can just one-shot him back dead, and, you know, it's like a wasted turn for them. Because sometimes if they revive someone and they're faster, they'll heal him back up, and then you've got to spend another turn of 2 or 3 of your DPS attacking this person to kick them back down again. So, yeah, I try to think outside the box with this skill. One good thing to do with this skill, if you do use it, is I'd recommend to use speed straight after, because you went from slowest on the field to back again fastest. So yeah, that's one way to get rid of the speed debuff that you get from that skill. So what I'll do is I'll jump into another beast run so I can go through some of the other skills. The same concept applies with the speed, with the revive. If someone revives someone, and like you know that their healer's faster than everyone on your team, and you're not going to be able to kill their DPS before the healer heals everyone, I will use this skill to kill them before they get healed. So like we played against someone in Grand Magic Games recently, and they did beat us. But like they kept reviving their alphabet, and like I had to keep killing them because we had no pets alive before they could heal up, or before he could seal someone and die again and slow us down. But yeah. Now this next skill, Arcane Elimination, is your main DPS skill. I would say this is the one that does the most damage. You'll see my one will attack one target. So you'll see here it will attack. Oh no, this one's the AoE one. So you can select a few different things, which I'll go through in a minute with the mounts. But this was AoE attack. It usually does a very big amount of damage. If you choose to have the single target one, it will attack one enemy twice and usually do quite a lot of damage as well. So if you want to burst down one person on the enemy team, then have the single target one. But if you want to take the whole team down pretty quick AoE, use the AoE one, which I'll show you in a moment. Now with this skill here, you do have a cooldown on it, so you can only use it once and then you have to use something else and then you can come back to using it. So just keep that in mind. You could also play around with this and think a bit more outside the box. So usually what I will do is I'll maybe use Arcane Speed first if I've got someone on my team that's an elixir. And usually most of the elixirs are slower than me. So if I use my speed, I'll be quicker, and then they'll buff me with the physical attack buff, and then I will use that skill after because I'll get maximized damage out of it. Not only that, but you'll be quicker than everyone on the field. That's a good way to open and start off your battle. Although another alternative, if you think you're faster than an enemy team, is you can use that skill and get your whole team to just absolutely mow down one enemy. But you can see that AoE does more damage than the basic AoE attack. However, you can only use it once every other turn. So if you're just AoEing, just flicks between the two. So that's that skill there. The next skill I can't actually really showcase because I'm not getting sealed off. But this cleanse skill here, as you see here, it will literally dispel a sealing skill. So if someone's sealed on your team, you can use it to get rid of it. So, you know, that's pretty good to have on your team. So yeah, it's a pretty good skill to have. You kind of got to decide when's going to be good for it or not. Now this next skill here is called Arcane Celestial. Not many people use it because it's actually not that really good. Basically what it will do is if you've got a speed boost on your character and then you use this skill on one of your teammates, they will also get the speed boost, but they will increase the magic damage taken that they receive. If you're the opposite and you're slowed down, so using the slow skill, and then you use this skill on someone on your team, it will reduce their speed but reduce the physical damage they take. When you're under normal speed, it applies Spell Mist that boosts defense. So in short, if you're speed boost and use it, you make that person quick but you take more magic damage. If you're slow, you make that person slow but they take less physical damage. And if you're not any buff at all and you use it on your teammate, you just get a defense buff. So it's not amazing. I think if anything, the speed boost one might be okay. But that's only if you've got a really coordinated team, I would say. And the last skill, which I won't show you because it's a Fury skill, which is your ultimate skill. This one here in the middle, it basically restores your HP and MP for you and another friendly member of your team back to 100% HP and MP. You also get a 20% damage increase for 2 turns. However, you do not attack the next turn. You cannot attack the next turn, so your 1 turn of damage buff is negated. So you have 1 turn and your teammate has 2 turns of attack buff. Now, going back to what I said about the mounts, let me see here. So you got all of these skills here. I don't have the last one because I don't sell much in the trade market, but I'll get that soon for the reason of this. But as you can see here, if you complete some of these tasks here, which when you click on them, they'll tell you at the bottom here, they'll tell you a few different skills you can have. You can have one of the 2 at the top, one of the 2 in the middle, and one of the 2 at the bottom, right? And then you can have the ultimate skill once you unlock all of them. So the first one that I use is the Speed Liberator, because I'm using Arcane Speed the most. It just increases the damage by 5%. This one's not really that good. It just basically reduces the damage your beasts take, and I never really use these 2 here at all. So I mean, you could use this one to deal more damage with your AoE, But yeah, I basically use this one for the speed because I use that quite often in PvP. So yeah, I'll just keep that in mind. The second one I use is Arcane Fury Conqueror here. It boosts the speed reduction state. The wizard owns more magical defense. And yeah, basically that's all it does. You get more magical defense and physical defense. I don't really use Celestial that much, although you could do this one where you increase the speed. And then the last one here just increases damage that you do, but I would rather have the defense for being so slow, but that's just me. And then the last one, I would not even bother looking at these ones here. They're just not good at all. You either use the AoE skill or you use the single target skill on that one with the slash. And that's pretty much it really for all the skills down here. Obviously, if you do unlock all of them, you get a buff on your ultimate, which basically means if you're on a speed boost state when you use your ultimate, it will remove all your debuffs and control states on the target, as well as doing what it previously done with the HP and MP increase. If you're on speed reduced, it will also do the same thing, but you can resurrect a target as well. So if you're slow, you can revive someone. If you're fast, you remove debuffs and control states for you and your friendly target. So pretty good. If you have it, there's no reason not to use it, but you know, that's for another time. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. The last thing I'll kind of quickly show you over is my artifacts. Now I run these 6 artifacts here, sorry, with the I guess water droplet. The first one has a 10% chance to decrease 21% damage taken. That's obviously leveled up. 10% chance to lower the magic damage. So this one's physical, this one's magical damage. So that's just giving me a bit more durability since I am a glass cannon. 80% wizard level physical damage during battle. So, you know, just to increase your physical damage during the fight. Increase that by 80%. And then you got 2% of own level magic beast damage reduction. So that's just to keep my magic beast alive. But I'll come back to this one in a moment why I use it. This one, increase your physical damage, is a skill to use. So if I ever get sealed, I will use this skill to give myself an attack buff for the next few turns. And then this one here, I just use for the reason of, where is it? Is it here? Yeah. So I usually use these 4 here, because if you use all 4, you get like a little special buff. So I use all 4 of these, and then I use these 2 here for the damage reduction. So one last little tip that I will do before I go is when you're sealed, what I usually do when you're sealed off is I use arcane speed to give myself a speed boost, because you can actually still use it, although you won't attack, you'll still have that on your feet. And then I would use my artifact to increase my damage the next turn, so that when the 3rd turn my ceiling is off, I will attack first because of the speed buff, and I'll also do a bit more damage as well, rather than clicking defense. You can obviously click defense and try and stay alive, but I find myself, if I just try and buff myself up ready for when I'm finished out of ceiling, it will help me out a lot in the long run. So yeah, that is pretty much everything on velocity. If you're a velocity player yourself, if you have any tips, you know, leave them in the comments for other players. I don't actually know how long this video is, so yeah, I'm sorry if it is long. And not only that, but hopefully this actually does help you guys. I will do some more class videos for other classes. You just got to keep in mind that I only play on one server and one character, so it's quite hard. I know how other people play other characters, but obviously I would rather want to showcase some of the skills out to you as well. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Take care and see you later. Peace.